You happy to be here? Yeah. There you go. Now we're getting started right. For those of you that are slapping each other and slapping yourselves and all that, I want you to know we did have a mosquito company come out here and spray at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I think all it did is energize them. So, you agree? You want to be a little cautious. We had one of these hooper skeeters that flew off just last year with a small child. So we got some big ones out here. You betcha. I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, we are so grateful. Wasatch Cowboy Church is so grateful for Brinn and Andy coming over here to help us out with this benefit. This benefit is so that we can operate our program for alcohol and drug addiction recovery. So what you're doing out here really matters. Thank you for being with us. There's some sheets over on those tables. If you want to put your name down with some contact info, next time we do some kind of an event, we'll get a hold of you and let you know what we're going to do. And that isn't so we can pester you in any other way. Just wanted to let you know, in case you'd like to be gotten in touch with. Let's see. I did want to mention our sunrise Easter sunrise service, Sunday morning, 7 o'clock. We'll have us a fire out there and some hot chocolate and some coffee cake. And it won't take a whole long time. Just a chance to get together, a few early risers, watch the sun come up, sing some songs, short message. And then after that, we'll do an Easter egg hunt. So, not Jeremy, you're an adult. Well, no, you're not an adult, but you still can't be in the Easter egg hunt. Anybody shorter than me? Okay. Can't argue. I'll also mention that our regular church service every week is 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And Cowboy Church is a real easy place to be. So if you'd like to come on by and join us on a Sunday morning, we'd be happy to have you. Of course, we'll have an Easter Sunday service this week. And we always have ourselves a potluck dinner after every service. So if you like to eat and you like to sing that good old gospel music with a western swing to it, I believe you're in the right place. Come on back and see us. Darren, where are you? I've asked Darren to come up here and open this up with a prayer for us.
We're going to let him get down before we try to pray, because it is live streaming, and that would be fun to watch later. But let's open in a word of prayer this evening. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we are grateful to be here tonight. We thank you for this beautiful weather you gave us today. And we do thank you for all that you've done for us, for your mercy and your grace that you bestowed upon us. And we pray, God, that everybody here tonight would enjoy this time. I pray, God, that you would be with us. Pray that you would be with Brinn and Andy and bless them for being a part of this and show them how much we really do appreciate them for being here tonight and all these people as well. God, we'll just be careful to thank you and praise you for all you do through us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
How you doing? Happy Easter.
Yeah, what a great time of year. A time of birth and renewal and calving. Awesome.
Hey, all the way from Pinedale, Wyoming, this is a fellow that doesn't need much introduction, at least the places we hang out, and probably not in Hooper, Utah. This fella is the main voice of Cow Radio, Clear Out West Radio, and fine cowboy poet, wonderful stand-up cowboy comic, one of my best friends in the whole world, Andy Nelson from Pinedale, Wyoming.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and it is my pleasure to be up here this evening with As Brinn said, one of my best friends ever. This man is a singer-songwriter extraordinaire. I like to refer to him as a young Ian Tyson. You know, it really makes him anxious when I say that, because Ian Tyson is a legend. But ladies and gentlemen, this man honestly is the best in the business right now. Please welcome Mr. Brinn Hill.
Thank you guys so much for being here. On the high side of Rock Creek, on a cold October morn, I found God with the breaking of the dawn. And I don't have to read scripture or sing my mother's favorite song to know that God is real, or to know that I've done wrong. But today I need the inside of a church. I need to hear an organ play. I need to hear a congregation sing in that old familiar high side of the mountain just isn't gonna work, 'cause today I need the inside of a church.
Come unto him as a fisherman, and he will make you fishers of men. Come unto him as a student of life, and you will return once again. He called you to come as a sheep herder. A shepherd is what you became. All he asks is that you come as you are, but don't expect to leave the same. You can come unto him lowly and lonely, and he will not send you away. You can come unto him misguided and lost, and he will not lead you astray. He bids you come to him as a sinner, and he will cast on you no blame. All he asks is that you come as you are, and you'll never be the same.
I know I smell like smoke, and there's whiskey on my breath. So if I sit next to you, could it not scare you to death? 'Cause today I need the inside of a church. I need to hear an organ play. I need to hear a congregation sing that old familiar way. The top side of a horse just isn't gonna work, 'cause today I need the inside of a church.
Satan whispers, you can't be forgiven. You're too far gone to save. But our Savior paid for all transgressions when he triumphed over the grave. You can come to him wounded. Come to him with your wounds and your shortcomings, your burdens, your troubles and fears. Carry them no more. Leave them all with him. Abandon your sorrows and tears. Then as you come to him, humble and meek, yes, he will remember your name. as you make the effort to come as you are. You'll never again leave the same.
Can you find it in your heart to let a stranger in? Is this just a place for saints, or can a sinner start again? 'Cause today I need the inside of a church. I need to hear an organ play. I need to hear a congregation sing. I need to hear Pastor Larry pray. The high side of the mountain just isn't gonna work, 'cause today I need the inside of a church. Today I need the inside of the Cowboy Church. Thank you so much.
You bet. Hey, technology is wonderful when it works. My video was not playing on my device here, so I'm assuming it didn't play out there. All you got, it did play. Oh, yes, then technology's wonderful. I'm sitting up here panicking because it ain't playing. Okay, good.
I think, Andy, that's divine intervention.
That's exactly what
I know
that
you
was.
in technology.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it is great to be here tonight, and we are going to do some cowboy stuff, and we're going to goof off. But, man, that was a great way to start tonight's concert, wasn't it? You bet. Amen. Well, as I said, it is springtime. It is calving season, and you know what that means, Brinn?
Oh, yeah.
You do.
Time is long on the mountain. Snow flies in 9 long months a year. When the warm south wind blows, every cowboy knows spring roundup time is finally here. So call the boys at the big A-double-L. Call Mike and Jeff and Jason and the crew. And come the break of dawn, we'll be saddled up and gone. 600 head for the day is through. 'Cause there's nothing like Utah in the springtime. Nothing like the freedom in the air. And there ain't nothing better than dragging calves to the branding fire, and there's nothing like the smell of burning hair.
Now, just so there's no confusion, the rest of these pictures are still pictures. There's no more video, okay? All right, so don't yell up at me that the video ain't working. Uncle Charlie ran the head catch. Uncle Charlie ran the gate. He also pulled the squeeze chute and doubled in his bait. When calving season come around, Uncle Charlie understood that he would calve the heifers and just do the best he could. And everything was running smoothly till a heifer was distressed. He brought her in to pull the calf and would do his level best. Down the alley, in the trap, he would capture her with ease. Raise the gate, attach the chains, just as pretty as you please. But it's a fact that calving chores don't always go as planned. With one chain loop on one calf hoof and the other o'er his hand, Uncle Charlie prepared to slip the chain and readied to pull the noose, when a butcher steer inside the pen went and knocked the head catch loose. Out she popped, and the chain drew taut and tightened around his wrist. She pulled him through the half-closed chute like a lance sebaceous cyst. Now firmly bound to calf and heifer, Uncle Charlie ran behind, trying to stay on his feet while struggling to unbind the chain that held him captive to this wild and gravid beast. But the mud and poo inside the pen seemed to keep his muck boots greased. So down he went, and off she ran, with him swinging in behind, trying to kick her captive loose. With both he and she entwined, they looked like a ski-joring team. In some bovine winter sports, that's when Charlie's pants fell down, and so did his undershorts. A new Olympic sport was born, though a bit rank and smelly, running a mud luge with no sled, naked and on your belly. Well, this just added a whole new degree of urgency to his plight, so like an anchor on a cargo ship, he dug his heels in tight. Can you imagine doing this in a sloppy calving pen with your pants down around your ankles?
I can't.
He dug his heels in tight and liberated that young calf, launching him like a bullet into Charlie's bare naked lap, with no more need to pull it. Well, the only thought on Charlie's mind brought out an audible laugh. What if his wife found him naked, unconscious, and chained to a calf?
These days pass on with the wind, and the boys, they've loaded up and they're headed home. Come this time next year, you better bet they'll be right here until the cattle and the west are dead and gone. 'Cause there's nothing like Utah in the springtime, nothing like the freedom in the air, and there ain't nothing better than dragging calves to the branding fire, and there's nothing like the smell of burning hair. No, nothing like the smell of burning hair. Nothing like northern Utah in the springtime.
Man, no kidding. You know, and that poem wouldn't be so funny if it wasn't a true story. I swear Uncle Charlie could have lost his life on that one. Somebody was watching out for him on that one. There's no doubt. There is a moment of extreme danger when you're pulling a calf. And it's when you've got one chain on the calf that is inside the cow and the other chain over your wrist, ready to slip it onto another hoof. All right, Brenno.
You know, we are so fortunate we get to travel a lot to small-town America, and we meet some phenomenal people, places like Hooper, Utah.
Oh, man. I had no idea it was pronounced Hooper.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
I do.
I came a long ways tonight.
Yeah, you did.
Man.
Is this probably the closest gig you've ever had other than playing for your family in the living room?
It probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait a minute. We did a spring barn concert out in front of your barn last year, didn't we?
Yeah, that was right during lockdown. So
yeah,
I wish you wouldn't have said anything about
our one and only performance last year. So if we're a little rusty, you'll know why.
Yeah. This is a song. You know, this was a hit in Texas, and on the Texas music chart. And I wrote the first part of this song on a napkin at Moore's Family Restaurant, eating a giant cinnamon roll. Yeah. Talk about the weather and the prices of cattle, your wife's worthless brother and his brand new hand-built saddle.
Don't get me started.
We'll talk about women, the heartbreaking kind, pickup truck cafe. We drink coffee here every day. We sit and talk the morning away. Down at the pickup truck cafe.
My horseshoeing truck is part primer gray, and it is a wonder to behold. I often wonder, will it start today, and what's smoking on the manifold? But it gets me on time to each shoeing gig, though it's lost its original shine. And truth be known, I sure like that rig, and it's been paid for since '79. The battery, it ain't battin', and the air intake needs a breather. The generator, it ain't ginnin', and the pistons ain't working either. The radio squawks out 1 AM station, and the seat has no springs underneath, but the ride is real smooth. Just a little vibration that's been known to jar fillings from teeth. The AC works fine when going to town, and it runs on 240 power. 240, that is, with 2 windows down at over 40 miles an hour. There's a sack on the shift and mud on the floor and a cup holder screwed to the dash. Rocks in the ashtray, dog slobber on the door, and a check I'm still needing to cash.
It's across the county line, out on the very edge of town. You'll never see the sign, facing down on the ground. It's falling down and the world's moving on. And the morning radio, 20 years long gone. Nobody knows where they go. Down at the pickup truck cafe, to drink coffee here every day, and sit and talk the morning away. Down at the pickup truck cafe.
The tailgate is gone, the cab light burned out, and there's paint is all gone from the bed. There's dust in the vents and trash strewn about, and a fragrance like something is dead. As a real looker, she ain't worth her sand. In fact, she is mighty low tech. My GE nippers, my anvil and stand book higher than this poor old wreck. The new nails I store in an old ammo can, and my tools in a green army box. There's a spare tire in the back from a Dodge minivan with some horseshoes and dirty old socks. She's held together with duct tape and wire, and runs mainly on diesel and luck. But with the money I make as a shoer for hire, I sure can't afford a new truck. So onward we go, just staying the course, though some days I don't think that she'll make her. And I've always said if she were a horse, not even the canner would take her.
And it don't matter what you wear, it don't matter who you are, 'cause most things they don't care. But don't you dare drive a car, especially a Prius
or a hybrid of any type,
down to the pickup truck cafe, to drink coffee here every day, and sit and watch the time just fade away. Down at the pickup truck cafe. Hey, you know what they say? Never buy a used pickup from a Wyoming cowboy, especially if he shoes horses.
That's a true statement. You know, I'm sorry, Pastor Larry, but I think I'm breaking the 10th commandment right now as I look over here and look at that shoeing rig. Now, that is a good shoeing rig. I'd love to have something like that.
Hey, you know what they say? Never buy a used pickup from a Wyoming cowboy, especially if he shoes horses. That's a true statement. You know, I'm sorry, Pastor Larry, but I think I'm breaking the 10th commandment right now as I look over here and look at that shoeing rig. Now, that is a good shoeing rig. I'd love to have something like that.
You know, Brinn and I have been doing this for some time now. I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, right, right. Minus the year off for our coronacation. We've been together doing this for some time. I don't know, what, 15 years? Something to that effect. Together, independently, we've been doing it quite a bit. But we've come to the conclusion that it's probably a really good thing that we didn't know each other when we were 20 and still cowboying.
Yeah, not enough bail money, huh?
Not enough bail money out there. Yeah. I'd love to go back to being 20 and cowboying again, but I'm not going back, all right, unless I can take the knowledge I have right now. Yeah, if I got to go back to being 20, young and stupid, I'm not going. Forget it.
Perfect timing. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I just want making sure that was the one we were doing, so go ahead. It'd be a good segue right there, had you jumped right in.
I tune because I care, okay? Somewhere tonight on Big DLL, you're watching the sun go down. There's a chill coming on and the fire's burning well as you look out across hallowed ground. There's a coyote dancing along Mackie Draw. There's a golden hawk perched on the wire, and there's a bedroll awaiting for your head to fall as you stare deep into the campfire. And I've been camped where you are, and I've wished upon the same stars, and I would give every last penny I'll spend if I could be 20 and cowboy again.
He now assumes the posture of the shoes he used to nail. He's permanently bent and also looks a little frail. His fingers are shaped like he still holds a hammer, and his hearing's fading from the anvil's constant clamor. Pursing horseshoe nails carved a valley in his lip, and squeezing hooves between his knees has wrecked at least one hip. His arms boast the battle scars that read like rural road maps. They are tattoos with better stories from multiple mishaps. The textures of his shoe and apron match his weathered skin, and the two-tone lines upon his face are deep and etched within. But more worthy and impressive than all of this instead is the wealth of equine knowledge he stored up in his head.
On an old Texan saddle with no bucking rolls and a hand-me-down shank snaffle bit and a rawhide Rieta it's too long to hold, and a pair of old chinks that don't fit. 17 miles from the highway across to the head of the summertime range, and there's no one but you and the crew and the boss, and there's nowhere to hide if it rains. And I've been camped where you are, and I've wished upon the same stars, and I would give every last penny I'll spend if I could be 20 and cowboy again.
He showed me that a horse is more than just a working tool, and that education comes from sweat and not just from a school. He taught me that a horse can mend a shattered, broken soul, and there is no better healer than a newborn baby foal. I learned from him a horse won't judge you by your roping skill, but he'll not forget the man you are if you break his will. He showed me how to work a bronc and do it without force. I learned more about myself than I did about the horse. He's forgotten more about horses than I will ever know, and I care for that old shoer more than I can ever show. In these days, good horsemen seem to be rarer and fewer, and I was lucky to have been taught by that old shoer.
I've got a place of my own, and I've got a woman I love, and I am never alone, but sometimes that just isn't enough. 'Cause I've been camped where you are, and I've wished upon the same stars, and I would give every last penny I'll spend if I could be 20 and cowboy again. That's one of my favorite Andy Nelson poems. He wrote it about one of his mentors. Andy's father's a horseshoer. He grew up out in the Great Basin, kicking around on those old roads at the Wine Cup and all over that country.
Oh, great stories, too.
But that poem is about old Ed Brewer the Shoer.
That's right, Brewer the Shoer. I tell you what, Brewer the Shoer is 85 years old now. He lives in an assisted care place, skilled nursing facility, I guess is what they call it. The only thing he can fork now is an easy chair, but pre-COVID, I got to go visit him every Sunday. And we'd sit and we'd talk and we'd ride and we'd shoe, and we were the best there ever was. I figured out that the older we get, the better we were. But what a great guy.
You know, Selena tells me that all the time, as a matter of fact.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Speaking of Selena, you know, I don't write a lot of love songs, if you haven't noticed.
Well, you know, you write what you know, brother. That's all I can say.
And, you know, when I got married, my wife had a really awesome job at a bank. And you know what you call a songwriter without a girlfriend, right? Homeless?
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah, kid number 2 rolls around, and Mama says, yeah, I'm going to stay home, be a stay-at-home mom. And I said, well, yeah, that's what maternity leave's for. She says, no. No. When maternity leave's over, I'm staying home.
Guess what, bucko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Daddy needed a hit. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was going to be it, right?
This was going to be
this was the
be-all, end-all.
Brinn has always hovered on the edge of obscurity with his talent, and this was going to be the song that launched him smack dab right into the middle of obscurity.
Some of you will relate all too well. I really want to dedicate this to Van Call here.
Well, we're going to save some lives here, so pay attention, gentlemen.
Watch my buckskin and my saddle and my day bags and my gun rolling rear over tea kettle down into the morning sun. She was bent, she was twisted, she was bruised up in the back, and we were half an hour scouting down the hill for broken tack. We were halfway up Red Mountain, we were full of grit and dole, and I was bound and stone determined not to let that roundup spoil. So I kicked her in the gizzard and I pulled up on the reins and climbed back up in the saddle in spite of all her aches and pains. And it ain't that I don't love her, 'cause the good Lord knows I do, and I'll be on her road beside her right up till my days are through. But if you're gonna be a cowboy, better heed your inner forces, 'cause it's hell on your women and it's harder on your horses.
Someone left the gate open to the horse pasture pen, and your horses got into the grain room again. You know darn good and well your sweet bride left it open. She said you did it 'cause you went to a roping. Well, now you have a choice here, Pard, if you wish to sleep tight. Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be right? Your favorite work shirt shrinks every time it goes into the wash all covered in grime. You tell her wash it in cold and don't ever dry it. She says it shrinks because you need to dye it. You begin to ask her if that's why her jeans fit so tight. Now, do you want to be happy, or do you want to be right? You take notice of a buckle bunny out at the fair with a dandy set of teeth and some big old shiny hair. Your dormant hormones surface and appear hyperactive. Then she queries you, honey, do you find her attractive? Well, to tell her the truth sure wouldn't be very bright. Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be right?
She was cradling my baby. She was in a rocking chair, and he was noisily nursing neath the tendrils of her hair. And I just had to break it to her. I was out of work again. When I get back, buckaroo, and I will find a real job then. We were off and we were running high on her canyon in the fall. Long dark timber, golden aspen beneath the red rock canyon wall. Cattle rolling down the meadows, mama's babies hear 'em cry. Brings a burning to your bosom and a teardrop to your eye. And it ain't that I don't love her, 'cause the good Lord knows I do. And I'll be on her or beside her right up till my days are through. But if you're gonna be a cowboy, better heed your inner forces, 'cause it's hell on your women and it's harder on your horses.
Choose one or the other, Pard. You can rarely do both. Pitch petty disagreements and be true to your oath. You outkicked your punt coverage when she said I do. She gave up on her dreams and said she'd always be true. So oftentimes it's best if you'll just pick the right fight. Choose now to be happy and care less if you're right.
I can stand here before you, look you in the eye and say I'll never be a rich man. And I know the reason why, 'cause I'd trade fancy trucks and money. I'd trade power, I'd trade fame for one more day buckarooing on a horse that's halfway lame. And it ain't that I don't love him, 'cause the good Lord knows I do. And I'll be on him or beside him right up till my days are through. But if you're gonna be a cowboy, better heed your inner forces, 'cause it's hell on your women and it's harder on your horses. Yeah, it's hell on them women and it's harder on your horses. It's just hell on them women, God bless them, and it's harder on your horses.
Yay!
You know, Darren, that's opposite for you.
Oh.
She's the cowgirl.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the horse girl right there.
No kidding. Well, man, you outkicked your punt coverage, man.
But he was wincing during that song.
I know you're also broke, I know, though. If she's the horseman. Yeah. Just between us, the best horsemen in my family are my daughters.
So, as you can, that song is not a hit because most of you have never heard it before and probably won't ever want to hear it again. But this was the other attempt, and I think I got pretty close.
You did. I mean,
one.
honestly, really, this is an honest to goodness, true cowboy love song.
Oh yeah.
And you'll see here in a moment why. I don't know. It didn't make it to number. It did make it to number one, didn't it? In the greater Hooper metro area.
Yeah, right.
I think it did.
Yeah, it is the first one at the bottom of the garbage can here, or the first one in the bargain bin at the truck stop. I don't do the dishes. I don't mow the lawn, ever. I don't do laundry. I sleep in too long every day that I can. And I'm a little clumsy, but what can I say? Yeah, she loves me anyway.
Well, life is rough and times are tough, trying to make a living off the land. As hard as we try, we barely squeak by. It don't pay much being a ranch hand, but we love this life, me and my wife, so we do without most of the time. We tighten our cinch and pennies we pinch. Heck, we can't even afford to turn on a dime. So Mama and me, we both agreed to do the best with what we have. We'd have to make do with an old tractor or two and take turns when it come time to calve. But haying was hard. I'd come to the yard many times throughout the work day just to fix or repair a break or a tear that I should have fixed while out in the hay. So we devised a plan to save time as we can, and we developed a special signaling code. I'd signal from afar. She'd hop in the car, bringing parts and tools down the dirt road.
I forgot her birthday.
Ooh, ouch.
And our anniversary.
Oh, both of them?
All 19 of them.
Man.
Spent all of our money buying stuff for me.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I told her I was sorry. But what could I say? Yeah, she loves me anyway.
Well, it worked real good as I knew it should until one day my swather broke down. And I signaled to her that damage occurred and I'd be needing some parts from town. Well, she understood well what I was trying to tell. I made it clear with no ifs, ands, or buts. I needed sections and rivets, a belt without divots, and a handful of shear bolts and nuts.
Yeah, we got that one.
You know what the sign is for that, right? And at last I requires a new set of pliers. So I used the appropriate signal and stance. But the answer directed I hadn't expected. She grabs her chest and the seat of her pants. Well, my message was good. She must have misunderstood. So I sent aloft the message once again. And she replied once more, and I was quite sore when her answer came back exactly the same. Well, what's that mean? That one I've never seen. Let's give this correspondence one last shot now. It's real easy, dear. Bring the pliers here, but a chest grab and a butt slap is all I got. Well, I was smoking mad, and I wasn't very glad as I set out through the hay to the yard. I'll get 'em myself. They're just on the shelf. That message wasn't all that hard. Well, I arrived in a huff, and I says loud enough, I meant, bring the pliers for the love of Pete. Well, I know, she said, you darn bonehead. I was telling you there's a pair under the seat.
Is it my cowboy charm? These big old rolling muscles in my arms.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Or the way that I look in my old holy sweaty BVDs.
I've seen your BVDs, that ain't it.
Is it the jokes I tell? The way I scream and I yell? When she tries to watch one of her sappy old girly DVDs or Christmas Hallmark movies.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You know, Hallmark called. And they were thinking about turning this song into a Christmas movie. Yeah, I think it's going to name it Divorce for Christmas or something like that. I can't remember.
I didn't make the bed. I left the seat up, you know where.
That's where it belongs.
I drank all of the OJ and went all day without combing my hair.
That's what hats are for.
And last night I fell asleep. I thought I heard her say, hey, I love you. Anyway, honey, I still love you. Coming up on 20 years and counting for me.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, St. Jacqueline and I have been married for 34 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, how about that?
You know, actually, we were talking, at that last gig, we were talking, I was talking with Jackie backstage, and she said that 34 years with you feels like 34 minutes.
Oh, that's sweet.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So obviously you figured out that Brinn and I are married, well, not to each other, I mean to separate ladies, and of course, and we have 7 children between us, among us. 7 children among us. I have 2 boys, 2 girls. Brinn has 2 strapping young lads right over there. And the most beautiful little girl you have ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
She's like a mini Selena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I tell you, you're in big trouble, partner.
Oh, buddy.
She's just like around the corner from dating age.
I got a thing for that.
Do you?
Yeah. You know this 45 ACP round that I carry around with me everywhere?
I wondered why you carried that in your pocket.
That's when, the feller comes to get her to take her on a date.
Yeah.
I can flip him that bullet and say, those fly a lot faster after 10 o'clock. 9:30.
Right. Oh, man. You're like a teenage boy's nightmare.
I'm fixing to be, I'll tell you what.
Well, I think you know all the tricks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You can fool the fans, but you can't fool the players, right? Something like that, right?
Something like that.
So, these pictures that we have here, I've got 2 really good photographer friends. The landscape pictures are taken by Dave Bell, WyomingMountainPhotography.com. Look that up. He does awesome work. The punchy pictures and such were taken by Mandy Frank, and she's a dandy photographer. Her and her husband ranch over in Lysite, Wyoming. So catch up with her on Facebook. Now, the only problem with these pictures is every once in a while, Brinn throws me a curve, throws me a boomerang, all right? So he writes a song about a teenage girl in a Jeep. Dave Bell and Mandy Frank have no pictures of teenage girls in Jeeps. No big deal. I have the world at my fingertips, right? So I go on the World Wide Web and I type in girls in Jeeps. Note to self: don't Google girls in Jeeps.
Silly boys, Jeeps are for girls, and man, she's late for school, and she won't even look at me, 'cause I'm just not that cool. I'll be driving my dad's old truck, turning 16 in just 1 month. She'll still sit higher and park crooked right up front, 'cause she's driving her daddy's Jeep, and she's putting her makeup on and finishing her breakfast while she's talking on the phone. And she is way above the law. She could drive in her sleep. So get out of the way, boys, she's driving daddy's Jeep.
Being a father, I try not to bother my teenage daughter and her friends, so trying to be cool. And not a fatherly fool, I joined their discussion of fashion trends. Now, I'm an old cowboy, and I try not to annoy my daughter or right her many wrongs, but I had to jump in with a half-crooked grin when they started in talking about thongs. Now, this subject, I know. See, I was young long ago, and as a young boy used to wear them all the time. While down at the pond, I grew quite fond of the footwear from the Five and Dime. We weren't talking about the same thing, no doubt. They were talking about ladies' underwear. You know, the kind that ride up the behind. I swear I'd rather go bare. And I wish I had struck dumb and had not succumbed to the temptation of being one of the girls. And it all went south when I opened my mouth and offered my wisdom and worldly pearls.
33s and a 6-inch lift. She can barely feel the road, and it takes the whole back seat just to carry her big load of curlers, books, and pom-poms, and her boyfriend's dirty clothes. And how they ended up back there, well, heaven only knows. 'Cause she's driving her daddy's Jeep, and she's putting her makeup on, finishing her breakfast while she's talking on the phone. And she's way above the law. She could drive in her sleep. So get out of the way, boy, she's driving daddy's Jeep.
It's been a while, I said with a smile. In fact, I haven't worn them for years. All us boys wore them. It was stylish decorum, I said among mirth-laden tears. Of course, making them fit always hurt a bit as I had wedged them into that tight space. I once wore my brother's. Or was it my mother's? They might have been trimmed in lace while I continued unchecked. My manhood was wrecked, and I had the girls hanging on every word. All the girls choking, most of them croaking at the terrible things they'd just heard. So I carried on as if nothing was wrong and lamented about how they used to fit. The rashes they made, calluses they laid, until they were broke in a little bit. And they were awful hard, didn't protect or guard the things I was supposed to protect neither. And I didn't care much for the odor or such. Of course, I didn't wash them very much either. And they had no traction. Not even a fraction. Although their comfort can't be knocked, but the thing I hated most, I continued to boast, was the noise they made when I walked. Well, everyone around picked their chins off the ground, and my daughter explained what I had said. Ha! Well, now I'm glad that I didn't explain to them why. I want to be buried with them on when I'm dead.
What it's like inside upon those leather seats. I heard she rips off her pumps and works that clutch in her bare feet when she's driving her daddy's Jeep and she's putting her makeup on, finishing her breakfast while she's talking on the phone. And she is way above the law. She could drive in her sleep. So get out of the way, boy, she's driving daddy's Jeep. Whoa.
Nice. Once again, that would not be so funny if that wasn't a true story.
I don't know if we can get a rebooking on that deal.
I know it. Holy cow, let me tell you what. Well, you know, it's great to be here tonight. Well, and as I said before, it's great to be anywhere tonight. Yeah. We've been through some pretty interesting times here for the last year. But, yeah, we all know how to get through tough times, don't we? It's interesting, though. Life hits you pretty hard, pretty fast.
I'm telling you. I'll tell you what, this Cowboy Church is an awesome addition to community that I am really grateful for. And I have been through a crisis as a resident of Hooper, and I've seen this town come together to save us from ruin. And what a great place to call home, Hooper, Utah.
No doubt. Have you ever been in the mountains, or, well, not even necessarily in the mountains, but have you ever been caught in the middle of a lightning storm? Whoa, man. And especially if you're in the mountains and you're above the tundra line, holy cow. There is no place on earth that you feel closer to God or at the same time further away.
Bucky started pitching. Somehow I stayed on. 7 miles up east, Fork Meadow, 15 miles long. Nobody'd watched the news last night, nobody had checked the weather. We were 4 young wranglers following, boss hell-bent for leather. There were 700 head stretched out in front of us. The first strike of dry lightning, I heard old Ricky cuss. It was deep down in his throat, it was a whisper on his lip, but it echoed in our hearts and souls each time the lightning hit. And Donnie rolled a smoke to hide the fear inside his eyes, and Pedro started praying, looking all across the sky. And the rim rock all around us flashed, the air was dense and warm, as we kept the herd moving on through the lightning storm.
Our last child moved away last year. She's grown now and on her own. We only see her on holidays, or perhaps to co-sign a loan. Change comes at you in a hurry, and it rends my heart asunder. I've already seen the lightning. Now I'm waiting on the thunder. Like waves of grass, life ebbs and flows, and the only constant is change. I choke down a lump in my throat as prosperity swallows the range. And my old cow dog is 14 now. How he lived this long is a wonder. I'm seeing more of the lightning, and I'm still waiting on the thunder. Storm clouds of age gather o'er me. Arthritic aches go clean to the bone. A couple of horse wrecks still haunt me, but the reaper has left me alone. So I cherish bygone adventures, and mind's memories I plunder. I'm sure seeing a lot of lightning now, but I'm still waiting on the thunder.
We stopped to let our horses drink at the new spring tank, and nobody said a word as the lightning flashed along the bank. And we tore across the meadow when 4 pair broke and ran. I'm longing for the home corral and less forsaken land. But we kept 'em headed north until we reached the summer range, where those old dry lightning nimbus clouds are circling so strange. The lightning and the wind passed by the meadow's upper end, and we all started talking loud and laughing once again. And Donnie rolled another smoke and drew hard on his flask, and Pedro started singing loud, and he sang the whole way back. And the rim rock all around us watched like mothers watch newborns, 'cause we'd kept that herd moving on through the lightning storm.
I've seen some good horses buried, said farewell to some trusted friends. I deal with it the best I can and wait as my broken heart mends. And we're all holding on for dear life as the stock market goes under. We've seen lightning like this before. Now we're waiting on the thunder. As witness to a shrinking world, we hold fast to our Western roots. We will never sell our saddles nor trade in our cowboy boots, and we ride the recession like a bronc and weather each Wall Street blunder. We've a front row seat of the lightning. Now we're waiting on the thunder. What's in our hearts keeps us going. Love of life, family, God, and pards. We forge onward through trials and fears and play whatever's in the cards, yet keep close to our tradition, never to divide asunder. And it's okay. Bring on the lightning. I think we're ready for the thunder.
Sometimes the storms of life will come when you expect it least. The great gray clouds will gather over and roar just like a beast. Square your shoulders up, remember who you're riding for, and keep the herd moving on through the lightning storm. Keep your hopes and dreams alive through the lightning storm.
We will get through this storm together and with God.
How you guys doing? You hanging in there? Getting cold? Getting eaten by mosquitoes?
Can you handle a few more? Can you? Okay, all right. Awesome. Well, you know, you were just looking a little flat on one side.
And people don't usually say that when we
No, yeah, that's true.
want us to go again.
Did you drop something there? I'm sure glad you saw that. Yeah. I didn't see a thing.
It's a 3-second rule.
Right. So we're just, only a short, 6 months away from hunting season?
Oh, man. That long, huh?
Oh, there's nothing like fall, is there? You know, I just got to tell you folks, as much as you think that we do this for ourselves, we're just telling you that hunting ain't all rainbows and unicorns, okay?
Martin and Henry, Browning and Winchester, 1873. It was faster to load and it could handle more pressure with a tubular magazine. General Custer and all of his soldiers fell at the Little Big Horn, and to an army of Sioux packing quick lever actions, and so the legend was born. Here I am riding in 2019 with both of my sons by my side, with an old lever action Brown and carbine crossing my back while we ride. The lever actions live on forever. The lever actions live on forever.
Another fall is coming around and I have to go hunting again. So I'll take a trip to the rutting ground along with my good buddy Brinn. We do not do this for fun, you know. We do this for family and friends. Like hunters of old, we reap and we sow. Our obligation never ends. It's drudgery to take time off of work and go to the mountains for food. But it's a task from which we cannot shirk. Yep, we are pretty much just screwed. But we'll sacrifice and we will endure somehow, although stay with me here, folks. I'm hearing a lot of this for the first time myself, okay? But we will endure, although the struggle is real, and then we do something else. And then we keep hunting some more. Stay with me. I am going to pull this out. Don't worry. Indian summer days are deceiving. Don't let our countenances lie. We suffer greatly while relieving ourselves next to another guy.
from 4440 to 22 long. The 4570 kicks. I walked tall through the grizzly bear willows with bone-crushing lead in my hip. Shooting across canyons to 800 meters at black bears, lions, and wolves. There's heads on the wall and meat in the freezer, and all of my problems are solved. Here I am writing in 2019 with my old guitar by my side about an old lever-action Brown and carbine my father carried with pride. Our lever actions live on forever. Lever actions live on forever.
My 270 don't cut it no more. I'll have to upgrade when I'm done. But it's always such a burden and chore to have to purchase a new gun. But we sacrifice for those in need. It's just the kind of guys we are. And we adhere strictly to the hunter's creed that no hunting trip is too far. They make us wear Cabela's apparel and don some camo now and then, all so that we can look down a barrel and fulfill our calling as men. We're forced to eat bacon every morning and don't get to eat squab or pullets. Then go into town at nary a warning and pick up a six-pack of bullets.
It's a six-pack and bullets.
Oh,
yeah.
A six-pack and bullets, okay. We spend the whole day hiking and walking and lamenting about our lives. Then at night, we just sit around talking about how much we miss our wives. Yeah, it's a penance we're willing to pay for all those we love so well. It's a battle on the mountain each day. I'm telling you, hunting is hell.
In a day when the future of guns hinges on the laws of the land, my granddaddy's 30-30 Winchester will be pried from my cold dead hands. Yeah, my granddaddy's 30-30 Winchester will be pried from my cold dead hands. Deep in my scabbard, or high on my shoulder, with both of my sons by my side. It's a final lever action, faithful old soldier I'll always carry with pride. Our lever actions live on forever. Lever actions live on forever. Lever actions live on forever. Lever actions live on forever.
You know, there was a lot of finger pointing and elbow gouging going on out there.
I think this guy right here needs a ride home. The guy in the plaid shirt right there.
You know, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a plug here. What to do with your next stimulus check? Buy another gun. You're welcome. We're kind of doing this on the fly, so here, you're looking a little cold. We're going to kind of move to something different here.
You know, it's just all too handy to have your traveling amigo and your best amigo be a very fine horseshoer.
Yeah, but I don't change tires. And I don't drive. My job is to run the air conditioning and the radio. That's my
Boy,
job.
that's no joke. I'll tell you what.
True story.
I do all the driving. Holy smokes.
And life is good. And you're going to hear a poem and a song here that will really explain a lot to you as to why we are the way we are.
Cinched Hitched him up in the old round pen. It was the first time ever right. Felt him breathing when I stepped in. I saw the quiver in his hide. His head dropped and his hind flew up, and I dug my spurs in deep. Felt my cinch sliding off one side, and a rail tie put me to sleep. Cowboy concussion. I was coming of age, bass drum percussion pounded in my head for days, and I still can't quite remember how I got myself back home. All I wanted to do was go to sleep and be alone. Cowboy concussion.
Boy, that explains why I forgot the stanzas in that other poem. Holy cow. All I can say is I lost control. My bad, but I have no remorse. This is how I taught Bruno a lesson while shoeing that crotchety horse. Now, it takes quite a bit to upset me, but when he used me for a jack, I had to show him just who was the boss, so I propped him up with my back. Then he tried jerking a foot away, so I hit him in the knee with my nose. It hurt him so hard, my eyes watered hard. He felt it clear down to my toes. Then he swooned from the pain I inflicted when I smashed my face to his head. Then I had to show him another thing or two, so I proudly stood there and bled. Then he struck at me with a front foot. But my ninja reflex was keen. I blocked his strike neatly with my forehead. Pooh! A move that was ornery and mean. Then I quickly shoved my ear in his mouth. It hurt him clear down to his jibs. He got all irate and kicked at me, but I softened the blow with my ribs. Pooh!
T-post pounding for summer wages. I was starting to muscle up and stretching wire 10 hours a day to make a payment on a trailer and truck. I told the boss I could pound post through cedar roots and bedrock. Post pounder went up in the sky and then gave me one hell of a head knock. Concussion. I was coming of age, bass drum percussion pounded in my head for days, and I still can't quite remember how I got myself back home. All I wanted to do was go to sleep and be alone. Cowboy concussion.
Well, he was reeling so bad from my whooping, I thought I'd move on to the hind. He'd suffered enough of my punishment, I'd give one last chance to be kind, but it didn't last long. He started back in. When I drove a nail through, he kicked, so I countered his strike with my kneecap. And at that point, I really got ticked, because the still exposed nail was yet to be bent to keep from causing more harm. So I promptly, fully buried the shank in the fleshy part of my arm. Well, I no longer could constrain myself, so I spanked his hoof with my caboose, then quickly jumped to my hands and knees to save him from further abuse. I stood him up on the back of my hand and hammered his hock with my chest. Well, it was clear he couldn't take any more when he sat on my head for a rest. Well, I could tell he was getting real tired, because it took him an hour to get off. I had to save him from my deadly wrath, so I scrambled beneath the feed trough. That coward retreated right after me. Then I dealt the unkindest cut. He snorted in anguish and with horror when I filled his mouth with my butt. Well, I feel real bad for what I did to him, but it's just the nature of men. But I'll bet now he'll think twice before he picks a fight with me again.
I remember smelling chocolate cake and French perfume.
What?
I told the doc that I was okay and to get the heck out of my room. Doc says now that I never should have ridden those bronchi colts. I never should have tried breaking cedar logs with green tea posts. I can't focus or concentrate, and I can't remember anyone's name. So if I act like I don't give a dang, well, you know what's to blame. Cowboy concussion. I was coming of age, bass drum percussion pounded in my head for days, and I still can't quite remember how I got myself back home. All I wanted to do was go to sleep and be alone. Cowboy concussion. Cowboy concussion. Hey, who's cooking chocolate cake?
No way.
Why are you wearing women's perfume, Mandy?
The only one I could find. That explains a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. Hey, you're looking a little chilly, looking a little cold. We're going to end with one more song then. But first, a cowmercial. Yeah. Shameless self-promotion. Brinn and I both have product. We have CDs and books over here. And if you are so inclined and would like to take a little bit of that home with you, you sure can. Our product comes with a personal guarantee. If you buy a book or a CD from us, you get that thing home, you listen to it or read it, and if you don't like it, you package it up, you send it back to us, no questions asked, and we will send you something we don't like. Deal? Deal.
Folks, it's Easter weekend, and what brings us here tonight is celebrating the life of Jesus Christ and the sacrifice that he made for all of us. When I first met Larry Magruder, he literally ran across the aisle at Lowe's because I gave Selena the heavy end. And, you know, when I say ran, he ran. And this is a man who walks the walk. And I'm so grateful to call him my friend and have him as a neighbor. And I know that his efforts here to make this a solid, better community. And Larry, we're going to help you any way we can, brother.
You bet. And it is so wonderful to be gathered with brothers and sisters in the gospel of Jesus Christ that brings us all together from all walks of life. And we are so blessed. The Hill family has been blessed by this community. The Hill family has been blessed by God and his son, Jesus Christ. And Briggs is a living testament to that, brothers and sisters.
And he's here tonight. We have been saved for these latter days, and we have been made to follow his way. There may be times we might turn in despair. He is always there. And we will go on, and we will not fall, and we will not run. We will be strong. And through the darkest night, stand and fight. Through the deepest pain, our love remains, and we will go on.
I could feel the sweat running down my back, a lump in my throat, voice starting to crack. I misspelled the word in our schoolhouse shack. Embarrassed, I felt like crying. When the teacher broke the awkward tension that caught the other students' attention, when she said, "I guess I just forgot to mention, you know you get points for trying." I felt all the air rush out of my chest. My horse had exploded like he was possessed and stomped me in the ground like I was a pest. The stars about me were flying. When my dad rode up and said straight away, "Well, you didn't make the 8 seconds today, but son, this isn't the PRCA. I'll sure give you points for trying." I could hear my heart pounding into my ears. I had never done nothing like this in my years, but when she said yes, I fought back the tears. My poor scrambled brain was frying. I couldn't tell if you asked me to wed or help you go check the heifers instead. Your proposal was disheveled, she said, but I'll give you some points for trying. My nerves were shot, my blood ran cold, held hostage by a 1 and a 3-year-old. She left us to get the chicken eggs sold while I did the washing and drying. She returned with trash strewn about, the kids with the markers and me passed out. Through a fog-covered sleep, I think I heard her shout, "I guess you get points for trying."
Battle of life rages outside, so we face the storm and ready to ride. And there may be times we must stand on our own. We are never alone. We will go on and we will not fall, and we will not run, we will be strong. Through the darkest night, stand and fight. Through the deepest pain, our love remains, and we will go on.
My guts were churning, all tied in a knot. Our anniversary I somehow forgot. I had no excuse and I had been caught. I offered my devotion undying. I cooked and I polished and cleaned like no other, begged for forgiveness, was nice to her brother, booked a cruise for us and her mother. She gave me points for trying. My memory fades, my stamina wanes, I'm cranky from all of my aches and my pains. My vessels are clogged, I've got varicose veins, meds I'm continually buying. We aged gracefully without hitting the skids, raised our children without killing our kids, and now grandkids bless us for not killing our kids. We got bonus points for trying. My heartbeat weakens. My pulse is steady. The transition's coming and I stay steady. I know it, but I'm not sure that I'm ready. You worry a little when you're dying. Was I good enough to ride for his brand? Will he let me in, or will I be banned? Then a loving father takes me by the hand and gives me some points for trying.
The day will come, we will be with him again. But until then, we must go on, and we cannot fall, we cannot run, we must be strong. Through the darkest night, stand and fight. Through the deepest pain, love will remain, and we will go on. We'll go, we will go.
Happy Easter, everybody. This is Andy Nelson over here.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause for my buddy Brinn Hill. Enjoy the reason why we celebrate Easter.
God bless. Thanks again. Thanks for being here, everybody.